Hey, this is Notser, and we are in the Tier 8 Premium Soviet cruiser Mikhail Kutuzov. It has 12 152mm guns, 10 torpedoes, 44 AA guns, a surface detect of 12.7 kilometers, top speed 33 knots, total hull 40,700. For my modules, reduce crit chance on main battery, increase main battery accuracy, reduce the chance of flood and fire, faster acceleration, concealment. For my commander, situation awareness, basic firing training, last stand, superintendent, advanced firing training, and demolition expert. We are on the map The Atlantic, and this is one of the maps that will be changing. They're putting a lot more islands around the center, so there's a little bit more coverage, and I'm very excited. In 0.5.5, I tried to play the public test server, but unfortunately, it appeared that it wasn't on at the time. Maybe they were doing maintenance, I don't know. I need to gather more information for the Atlantic, Trap, and the other brand new map. I can't remember off the top of my head what it's called, but I'm interested to see that content. And hopefully you are as well, because if I have the opportunity, I will gather it. Notice the 3 enemy torpedo bombers overhead. I choose to use my defensive fire. It increases your damage done by, I think, 200 or 300%. It's extremely awesome when you're trying to take out enemy aircraft. One of the abilities they're giving to aircraft carriers, I believe at Tier 8 and above in 0.5.5, is basically a weaker defensive fire that lasts longer. And that's exciting. That will help them protect themselves from enemy attack. Possibly a good solution to get aircraft carriers to work towards taking out destroyers, taking out cruisers, taking out battleships before going after each other. I know Wargaming have mentioned in the past that they would like to see a world where aircraft carriers don't immediately eliminate each other, because it sort of makes one team hugely more powerful with their aircraft carrier up. And it honestly is boring, because it's very predictable the direction you're headed, and players play that way. Now notice that I killed just enough aircraft to where there's one left. I turned off my AA. I meant to do that. I'm trying to get in the habit of always allowing one aircraft to escape. Sometimes they will try to willingly throw their ship away, and that's more time they're wasting. We run into a lot of enemies around sea. I choose to use my smoke, and the reason I'm running with the acceleration module versus the rudder shift, and this is a recent change, is because apparently it also increases the ability for your ship to decelerate, so you can get into a position to take advantage of your smoke much quicker. You're not moving out of the smoke and losing that concealment. I'm overextended. Obviously, there's a battleship, there's a cruiser at least, if not another. So I don't want to die. My friendlies, who I protected earlier from the torpedo bombers, we did significant damage to that attack. They're playing really passive. I can't rely on them to play as a team, so I must make sure that I don't overextend. I send out my torpedoes against the enemy, Nagato. I felt like he would continue forward, and they could do damage to the enemy. Now, we have an interesting predicament coming up. The Pensacola is coming very close to my ship. I don't have my torpedoes anymore, and I immediately regretted sending the torpedoes once I saw that he was committed to an ambush tactic. I'm going to try and set up an AP broadside, and I think he's ready for this. So we fire at the waterline in the bow front. We get 11,000 points of damage. We need to angle. Okay, I think he got a little bit of AP, but we were able to survive relatively. We got 3 more in the front. Wow, that was lucky. We did another 9,000 points of damage. He is going bow on. He's only committing to his front, but he's making a mistake. We get to shove in more. 9,900 again. We're pretty healthy. He does a little bit of damage. My guns are ready to go. Fire at the waterline. We get a citadel, and we take out the enemy. And if I had my torpedoes, that would have been much easier. I would have sent them in a predicted pattern that he would come around the island. I would make sure I was bow on, which would almost eliminate all chances of the citadel. And now we're going to fire AP against a broadside battleship that pulled a Notser. He was escaping, however, he wasn't paying enough attention to escape. And I felt really overextended. There are a lot of aircraft overhead. It looks like both enemy aircraft carriers are trying to assist their team here. I don't blame them. They need 2 points, and A is not going to happen. So C is the next best thing. And we're not doing a lot of damage, but defensive fire just came up. I'm able to use it against the enemies. The battleship takes out one of my back guns. How does it take out a back gun? Maybe it wasn't the battleship, but it looked like the battleship shot was what knocked out those guns. Now, we've taken a lot of damage, of course. We're still alive, though, and we now have a health advantage over the enemy. And you can see I'm using AP. It's doing very good damage. Don't be afraid to use that AP, and you notice where I'm trying to aim. I'm not trying to aim at the waterline where it goes underneath. I'm trying to get more of the superstructure, the higher hull part. It's more consistent damage. And if you're in a position where the shell arc is a little bit plunging down, it's going to be hard the lower you go for the shell to actually penetrate it. It most likely will ricochet off the side just because that plunging effect makes it less effective on the side of the ship. So we're able to help take out the battleship. We got lucky there to get the last little bit, and we've earned 2 kills so far. The enemy have yet to kill a ship, and I'm probably the lowest health. I definitely look like I was beat to hell. I've been in a lot of battles, and it shows. We've got one of our guns completely broken. That's one of the things I like about World of Warships. The ships look like they've gone through hell. The only thing I would like to see, and I don't know if it's possible in their technology, I would like to see the sections of damage sort of blend together with the undamaged areas. You know, maybe it considers the side that you're taking damage from, and that side is more burnt or damaged than the back half, because you can see how they design their game. They basically damage a section of the ship, and I think there's, 5 or 6 sections. The bow and the stern are basically the only parts of my ship that aren't damaged, and it looks a little bit uniform in the damage area. The bow and the stern are perfectly clean, where the rest of the ship is complete chaos. So a little bit more blending would work perfectly, but I just love all of this. We're moving to the northwest side of the map. Interestingly, the Lexington is close enough that we can see him. This New Orleans looks to be interested in taking us out. I have AP loaded. I felt like maybe he would make a mistake and show his side. But I do have smoke, just in case, and I feel it in my bones. He wants to engage, so I pop my smoke. I come to a complete stop. With the assistance of the acceleration module, it's much easier because it also decelerates a little bit quicker. It's good. It's a much better module for a cruiser that has smoke. So the New Orleans behind an island we can't engage, but the Lexington, we can engage him, and I fire HE, I switch to AP since he's showing a perfect broadside. But I think I let him a little bit too much. I just overestimated the speed. You never expect a guy to stay in the area. I think he felt like I could take out the battleship. I could take out the cruiser. And how can you take out me? But AP is superior. When you're given a perfect broadside against an aircraft carrier, I'm going to kill it much quicker. And I think I'm hitting a little bit too high. Some of the rounds are bouncing off, ricocheting off of that flat deck. Yeah, there we go. Just a little bit lower, and we should be good. Friendly just rammed that New Orleans, and they had a mutual destruction. So now I'm all alone up here against this Lexington. Is this going to be the shot that kills him? No. I think this should be it, though. We got good dispersion on our front guns. And taking out an aircraft carrier, of course, is great. It's really important that you do that. The enemy battleships are in the center of the map. It looks like 4 enemy ships have broken through the middle, and they're trying to find any stragglers that might be, oh, I don't know, stopped at sea. What is my battleship friend doing? You can't be completely stopped. That's a terrible strategy. Now, my smoke is not ready. I just recently used it. I have to be very careful. So I'm going to try and take advantage of the battleship taking damage. Yes, you heard me right. He's a meat shield. But he's willingly being a meat shield. I don't know why he would be stationary, and I think he gets the idea, but it's too late. You've already sustained too much damage, in my opinion. We set the enemy North Carolina on fire. If he chooses to put the fire out, then we'll know within the next 15 seconds that we can reset it. And this is an interesting set of circumstances. He has chosen to put it out. That was only one fire, I believe. He's susceptible, but he is immune to fire. If he can push me off, force me to hold my fire, then he's basically protected himself from a lot of dot damage. I have seen plenty of battleships just sit there and take one fire. And as an Udaloy, a Soviet destroyer, I'm happy for you to take that damage. I can't do that much damage with my guns, quite honestly. The fires are really what pay off for Soviet destroyers if you're looking for high kill, high damage games. It's easy to do a little bit of chip damage, annoying damage. Even it's easy to take out Japanese destroyers, American destroyers at range. But I have gotten into the habit, if I notice that someone is committed to allowing one fire to burn, I'll just go to the next target, get a fire on him. It's actually worked out pretty well, and I know they have defensive fire. They're just playing the game in a more conventional manner, where battleships allow 2 fires to set, but you can also fall into a trap where this target has just done 10,000 points of fire damage for free. It's really that simple. So there is a meta within the meta. How do you address a situation? Do you feel like you can disengage and hide? If you can disengage and hide, I would aggressively use damage control, because it's going to be backup. Most people are running premium damage control. They should. It gives you the most value for 22,000 credits. You don't have to spend doubloons. You're just going to spend a little bit more every time you pull that ship. And the team does a great job. We were able to relatively easy not take out C. 3 kills, 9 citadels, a buttload of credits, 2,168 base XP. We did around 90,000 points of damage. I felt great in this game. The acceleration module does feel better. I could make more use of smoke. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you next time.